Mario 64 is one of the 5 games I basically grew up with. The others being Ocarina of Time, Bomberman 64, Mischief Makers and Mario Land 2, which I don't own anymore. And Mario 64 was an amazing game to grow up with. There was something magical about it. And I'm aware that games in general feel way more magical and special when you play them as a young child. Because you're dumb and hopefully not as cynical and analytical and sad and bitter as you will most likely become with age. But there was something about Mario 64 in particular that spoke to me. And it isn't just the fact that the movement in the game is so fun, you could put this version of Mario into basically every other fucking game there is and it would end up being enjoyable. There's a certain weirdness and surreal quality to the aesthetics of the game that sparked my imagination in a unique way. For example, let's take a look at the first Bowser stage. What is this weird green background supposed to be? It looks a bit like a bunch of stalactites. I mean, there are also the 6 crystals on the floor in this one small chunk of the level, so it makes sense to assume that it is supposed to be cavern themed. The level's name is actually Bowser in the Dark World, which implies that it takes place in some kind of dark dimension. Lore-wise, I guess, all the levels in the game aren't actual places that exist in the Mushroom Kingdom, but worlds or part of a world that Bowser actually created by using the power of the Power Stars. I really like the idea that he created this pocket dimension, which is basically just a giant endless cave, and then put this floating obstacle course into it. Just so that he can wait for you at the end of said obstacle course, because he thought that would be a pretty cool thing to do. Which, I mean, it is. Another and I think even better example of what I mean is the level Wet Dry World. Or more precisely, its skybox. A real photo of a real city was used as a base for it, which makes it visually stand out from the rest of the game and gives it a slightly uncanny vibe. And as a young dipshit, I always wondered if there were people living there, and if they were, what kind of people. Would they look like Mario, or would they be more like real humans? You know, like those weird, uncanny, realistic people from Mario Odyssey. Or maybe it's just a ghost town. Or the city was flooded. I mean, if you look at the sky, it definitely looks like we're underwater. Which is weird because, well, there's also water in the level, which doesn't make sense if the whole level is supposed to be underwater. Maybe there's some sort of SpongeBob logic going on here, I don't know. As a kid, it was cool to think about the world of the game in that kind of way. But when it comes to this specific aspect of my enjoyment with the game, my favorite part of Mario 64 is this one small level that you enter by going into this black hole. It's just this water-filled, cube-shaped room with 4 windows in it. It's so simple, but there's something so cool about this place. Where are we? When you look out the windows, you can only make out that it's somewhere in the sky. The level's name is the Secret Aquarium, and there are some fish swimming around in here, so I guess that makes sense. I like that image of there being this random big aquarium that just floats somewhere in the sky far away from civilization. We can't see what's beneath or above it, so it could theoretically also be a part of a big tower or something like that. One cool touch that I didn't mention yet is that in every window the sky has a slightly different color. The boring explanation would be that they are tinted in different ways. My headcanon and the way cooler explanation is that through each of the windows you look into a different dimension, and that this aquarium somehow sits in a sort of crossroad between those dimensions. I'm aware that the developers probably just added the different colors to the sky because they thought it would be a nice touch to make the room visually a bit more interesting, but it's kind of amazing how little things like that can lead to your imagination filling in the gaps in this sort of way. I'm already running out of things to say, so I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched any of my crappy videos last year. It means a lot to me, and I will try my best to be more active here this year. Hope you will have a wonderful new year, and maybe we will see each other again here soon. Take care and bye.